John, you work at Columbia University.
I do.
Speaking of clown cars.
You're not prepared for this particular cost. This wasn't just a debate, it was a public execution of bad ideas, and the audience went wild. So buckle up, because we're going to dive into the chaos, the carnage, and the moment this so-called expert got completely humiliated on live TV. Maher just took his show to a whole new level, completely overwhelming a naive woke guest who tried to push the most insane take you've ever heard. Let me tell you, it did not end well for them.
John, you work at Columbia University.
I do.
Speaking of clown cars.
I should say that I have been on a blissful sabbatical for the entire year.
Lucky yourself.
I only know so much, but go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, starting last week, Trump is going to war now on elite universities. Now, I cannot be a hypocrite. I went through my book that came out last year. It'll be out in paperback very soon. I can't be a hypocrite. I wrote down some of the things that I've said over the past that were gathered in the book. Don't go to an elite college. It makes you stupid. Elite universities are the mouth of the river from which manner all radical left illiberal nonsense flows. They're four-year daycare centers for the cry bullies of the privileged to complain about privilege. College today is not the college you remember. It's a day spa and a North Korean re-education camp put together.
It's cruel to watch this. Bill Maher is on a warpath, and this poor guy is completely out of his league. You can see by the look on his face that he is laughing, but it is pure pain. He is embarrassed, caught off guard, and getting destroyed on live TV. Bill isn't stopping. He is destroying this guy and the entire corrupt Wokefest organization that he represents. It's so satisfying to watch Bill call it out live, raw, and undeniable, because these institutions that were meant to educate children have turned into indoctrination factories, and the madness has spread to kindergarten. This guy knows he has no defense.
They're asshole factories. If ignorance is a disease, Harvard majority is the Wuhan wet market. Okay, so that's where I am. I can't, but I get the inclination, but as with most things now with this new administration, the way they do it, you can't do it by taking people off the street just because they wrote an op-ed pro-Palestinian. I'm not pro-Palestinian the way they see it either, but, or, you know, these people who are just disappeared because they have a tattoo. I'm so glad I don't have tattoos.
Bill, I should say, the kind of student you're talking about, in my experience, is a minority of the students. I don't see the whole campus as this, but there is a problem. I mean, frankly, Columbia has tried, for example, this year, to eradicate or at least dampen anti-Semitism. I mean, Manoush Shafiq did get 100 students arrested. You now cannot get onto the campus without a card, which is in order to protect especially Jewish students from having to listen to anti-Semitic protests all day long. The 3 administrators who were nakedly anti-Semitic in their texts were justifiably fired. But the thing is, I don't think this is really about anti-Semitism from the Trump administration.
Oh, please give me a rest. It's pathetic, and the worst part is that some people actually fall for it. They sit there nodding along like, wow, Columbia is doing such a great job. This is the virtue signal we're running with right now, and our campus is tackling anti-Semitism. Come on, man, this is pure deflection. There are countless real issues plaguing these campuses, including woke indoctrination, radical trans ideology, and DEI discrimination, and they're over here using anti-Semitism as a shield to avoid actual criticism. No, they aren't, if you think you've been brainwashed. The true issue is that colleges are promoting radical agendas that discriminate against Asian students and put equity before education. But of course, they won't discuss that. Why? Should we listen to Bill Maher? You already know he's going to expose this bullshit.
Administration, I think they care about as much about anti-Semitism as a kitchen cabinet or a spoon. What? really upset about is just wokeness in general, and universities do have a problem with wokeness. That is a real problem.
Yes, they have a problem with...
The good news, Bill Maher is not letting this slide in this next clip. He and his guest go in even harder, exposing the absolute insanity infecting colleges and the entire country. The professors and administrators are simply consumed by this ideology, which is destroying higher education from the inside out. They are now acting as though combating anti-Semitism is some sort of major fix, please. This is just a convenient scapegoat to divert attention from the real issue, which is the radical brainwashing that occurs every single day.
Writer for the New York Times with Village Focus World's pronoun trouble, John McWhorter, and the New York Post columnist and author of The Canceling of the American Mind, Ricky Schwab. Okay. All right. Look how good we must have done in the real show. All right, here are the questions from the people. What did the panel think of Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett calling Texas governor, okay, she's from Texas, the governor, Greg Abbott, who is paralyzed and uses a wheelchair, she called him Governor Hot Wheels. What do you think?
Congressperson Crockett is part of the new trend where informality is okay, where formality used to reign. Okay, fine. That's been going on since the 60s. So her routine is that she wants to bring a little bit of what I might quaintly call the ghetto catfight into these spaces. I get it, bring a blaxploitation movie or something into Congress. Great, work it. But you do not make fun of the fact that somebody lives their life in a wheelchair. That doesn't do it. If she thinks...
Oh, I'm all in on this one. People came after me for my take on this, but let's be real. There's a fine line between humor and just being plain tasteless. I love a good joke, but some they're just weak. And I fully believe in karma. If you go around mocking people for things beyond their control, don't be surprised when it comes back to bite you disagreeing with someone fair game. But making fun of a disability, that's just low take. Joe Biden, for example, I'd never mock him just because he's struggling mentally, but let's be real, if the leader of the free world allegedly soils himself on stage, yeah, that's comedy gold, not because of his condition, but because millions of people saw the warning signs and still put him in office. That's the real punchline. But let's be honest, ripping on someone just for being disabled, that's lazy, unfunny, and downright classless. And for the people in the comments saying, relax, it's just a joke. Yes, I understand, but certain jokes are just not funny.
Being black and fabulous gives her a pass on that, then she's got a really unfortunate sense of what black is.
Well, what do you think, Ricky?
I think this is just an example of when they go low, we go lower. And the Democratic Party is going to lose if they try to use kind of MAGA world tactics back at them. I think that if the Democrats want to succeed in the future, they need to be the party that is normal, that are stand-up people, that do not take the cheap shots back.
The Democrats aren't winning by acting holier than thou. That's been their game plan for years. And guess what? It's not working. And now they want to copy MAGA-style humor? Yeah, good. Luck with that. The reason MAGA jokes hit is because they call out the obvious absurdities, like radical gender ideology and the insanity happening in the world. Stuff that's so ridiculous. Even some leftists know it's a joke. That's why they can't defend it in a debate. Why they stay locked in their echo chambers. Because deep down, they know. But let's be real, mocking a guy in a wheelchair just because he's conservative, that's not comedy. That's just pathetic. There's nothing inherently funny about someone being disabled but a dude with a full-on bulge in a women's swimming competition. Now that's comedy. It's the absurdity of the world we live in. And all you can do is sit back and laugh if Democrats want to brand themselves as the party of let's mock disabled conservatives. That's not winning them votes. That's not the tolerant left they claim to be. Anyway, let me know what you think about this episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, where Bill shut this guy down and exposed the madness of American colleges right to his face, Drop your thoughts in the comments.